going on, Jerome's? We didn't recap Saturday's practice at the time because Daddy was out winning the day, just having a good time, just grasping on to those last little strings of summer. But we are back and better than ever. Well, meh-er than ever. So we're going to go through the two practices the Vikings had. They had a padded practice outdoors on Saturday, as well as they had non-padded sort of quasi-walkthrough practice on Sunday. And there's some takeaways from each of them. But the main one is they ran sprints like a high school team, running scheduled sprints, not as a punishment, but as a conditioning drill on Sunday. Tramps like us. I'm really excited about Springsteen coming to the X in March. No big deal. It's going to be, come on. All right, so the big story big story coming out of Saturday was Kevin O'Connell refusing to name Garrett Bradbury the starter for week 1 and saying that the center competition is wide open. We did a video on it earlier, so we're not going to hammer on it too much. And I like that Kevin O'Connell is calling it what it is. Bradbury has struggled in training camp so far. Chris Reed had been primarily focused as a guard, then they slid him into the second-team center. That's not a coinkydink. I think that Chris Reed is a contingency plan. And I like that O'Connell takes his ego out of it because he had deemed the Vikings 4/5 complete, 80% done. Only right guard was a big issue during the offseason. And so now he's gone back on that. And I like that he's inputted new data, seeing Bradbury up close and personal. So we'll see. I think this center competition is far from done. But going on Saturday, Thomas and Pioneer Press. Kevin O'Connell said that what Irv Smith Jr. had in his right thumb was ligament damage. He's already changed from a hard cast to a softer one. So that was suspected when he had that freak thumb injury. Probably not a broken thumb because he would have been out for a longer amount of time. Minor surgery, of course. Surgery is only minor when it's not yours. But ligament issue, with the thumb, and it's a good sign that he's already in a softer cast. Hopefully, he's able to get that soft cast off, start catching again in a couple weeks, and we'll go from there. Guessling. So that's some bad weather in the Twin Cities on Saturday. Vikings snuck into outdoor practice before more thunderstorms. Are in the forecast this afternoon. First round pick Lewis Cine got some brief work with the first team defense on 11 drills. So you are seeing Lewis Cine, you are seeing Booth, and you're especially seeing Ed Ingram start to get more and more work with the first team. I think that all three are on a collision course to either be starting or play a significant amount week 1 against the greasy grimy Green Bay Packers. Coming back from injury, Gessling. King Kene Nwangu, who Kevin O'Connell said was close to returning, is in fact practicing today. He's getting a few carries in full team work this afternoon. Now, King Kene had a lower leg soft tissue injury. You can't call it a calf, but it's good to see. Where I feel like the Vikings are taking a more, more active approach to injury and load management. You're seeing veterans get a lot of days off. You're seeing guys really take their time getting back from injury. And I trust and respect, like, hey, practice is important, absolutely, but we're in August. You don't win games in August. You don't win Super Bowls in August, but you can lose them if you lose players, a la Danielle Hunter in 2020. But with Kinkene, the fact that they're working back in slow and now they're giving the green light, like to see that. Same thing with Andrew Booth Jr. This entire offseason, taking it slow. Start training camp, he's good to go. Ready to rock and roll, man. Same thing with Amir Marset to a degree. Thompson. Speaking of injuries, Myron Mitchell is not practicing today after his quad tightened up yesterday. He's resting, and it's nothing serious. Again, this is yesterday. I didn't see a report if he practiced on Sunday, but like I said, Sunday was a glorified walkthrough. But Myron Mitchell is a guy who's competing for, I would say, flirting with the roster, maybe practice squad, somewhere in there. Him and Tristan Jackson really showing up and showing out really well. Speaking of wide receivers, our guy Thor Nystrom, Jalen Naylor has been a surprise early star of the Vikings camp. Here he is dusting Andrew Booth Jr., so he had a video clip. Speaking of Booth, I believe he would have been a round 1 pick in April's NFL draft were it not for durability questions and missing testing due to injury. Similar story for Naylor. Vikings arguably got a 2-3 round discount due to Naylor's injury history comprised availability at Michigan State. And yeah, that was the issue with him for the Spartans, where he never completed full seasons. It always seemed to be something, but when he was on the field, he was dynamite. And that's why wide receiver coach Keenan McCardle was standing on the table, banging it for and when they got Naylor, when they did. So having a guy in Naylor who could have been early day 3 caliber play, as well as Booth Jr. who could have been round 1, Kwesi, I mean, he's already establishing a type. Just take those chances on the injury guys. Hopefully with the new training staff and the new training protocol with the Vikings that they've implemented, hopefully they can keep those guys healthy. Will Raggets. Garrett Bradbury, this is from yesterday. Bradbury looked a little better against Harrison Phillips in one-on-one offensive line D-line drills today. Rookie guard Ed Ingram was a standout with a couple of strong reps against Jalen Twyman. So it's good to see from Bradbury. I just don't want to rule him out. Like if he can improve and get his technique in order, I think it's a bit of a long shot, but you would like to see it as opposed to just handing the job over to Chris Reed. And Ed Ingram, I think Ed Ingram is going to start. We already put the prediction out that he'll start by week 8, which is the first game after the bye week, but maybe sooner than that, man. On to Sunday. Unpadded practice. Looks like Jesse Davis, Harrison Smith, and Patrick Peterson are taking a vet day. They've cycled through a number of veteran days already so far. It's not a big issue. Don't see a Caleb Evans or Julian Taylor out here. With Jesse Davis likely taking a vet day, Ed Ingram is starting the right guard snaps with the starters. Booth and Scene taking starting cornerback and safety reps. So it's a double-edged sword, or it's a 2-for-1 for Kevin O'Connell, where you're managing the load of some of these veterans in the dog days of training camp, as well as you're getting these rookies first-team snaps. Yes, it is unpadded practice, just like it was last Tuesday, but say the first-team reps, they still matter. Absolutely. Borman. Vikings returning punts in order: ISM, Jalen Naylor, KJ Osborne, Albert Wilson. I do think it's going to come down to ISM and Jalen Naylor. Speedy Naylor did have a nice record of returning punts at Michigan State. ISM has probably never returned a punt since high school, because he didn't return a punt at Iowa, which is kind of odd. And then also he hasn't returned a punt in the National Football League, but he does have that talent. So I think it's going to come down to them. I think they just put KJ back there just as like a safety net. Same thing with Albert Wilson to a degree, because if Wilson makes a team, it will be because ISM and Naylor, they screw the pooch on punt return, then Wilson gets in on special teams. KJ is going to be such a big part of the offense. I don't think you want to put him as a punt returner. Borman continues. Johnny Mundt, Zach Davidson, and Ben Ellefson all splitting reps at tight end with the ones, with Irv Smith out. Ellefson taking tight end 2 reps in drills, Davidson at tight end 3. And this actually does make sense. I don't see this as a demotion for Zach Davidson, because they're in team drills, you're working out the primary inline tight end. So you got Johnny Mundt, you got Ben Ellefson, working in the vanilla base installation of the offense. And Davidson isn't your typical inline tight end. He is much more of a unspecified unicorn move tight end. So, during the dirty, gritty tight end work, I think that's going to be much more Mundt. That's going to be much more Ellefson in place of Irv Smith. And Davidson is going to be more in specialized packages. He's going to be involved in 2-minute drill, where the tight end generally isn't doing the dirty work like they would in a normal offensive set. So, King Kenny gets some run with the once today, baby. So King Kenny coming back from that lower leg soft tissue injury. Just say calf. So he came back yesterday, getting some run with the ones today. But like we said, unpadded practice, but it sort of is what it is. It's good to see King Kenny back out there. And then lastly, born to run. Vikings players and coaches just ran a series of sprints in the middle of practice. I don't think it was disciplinary given the way it was organized. 3 down and backs of either 30 or 40 yards, depending on position. Players are in helmets and shorts, no pads. And it's cool to see the coaches get involved in that too. Plus, Kevin O'Connell, at 36, he's younger than, half dozen quarterbacks in the league. So if poop hits the fan, if Cousins ain't it, if Mond ain't it, if Mannion ain't it, I'm just warming up my arm. Even though there is a rule that coaches can't become players. It's really more so you're not stashing a 54th roster member. So you have an assistant coach or an offensive quality control coach where basically they're a free agent. And they're able to sit in those meeting rooms, and then all of a sudden you have an injury. You're like, oh, yeah, this coach who has been sitting in our meeting rooms and knows the entire offense and knows the ins and outs of everything, has been to every single practice. Oh, he's a player now. That's why they got rid of that. Anyways, it doesn't matter, but it is fun to see. players running just like it's a high school practice. But hey, whatever works. I like the forward thinkingness of Kevin O'Connell and the new staff, managing veteran days as well as just getting after it, treating injuries very seriously, and also managing recovery, which is extremely important. And also, right, man. Your thoughts are thoughts. Recapping the weekend practice for the Vikings. The night practice coming up tomorrow. Monday. It's going to be good times. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skull Production Value.